What's up, YouTube? It's Ben, and in this video, we're going to talk about what activities you need to be tracking in your recruiting business. All right, guys, thank you so much for checking out another YouTube video of mine. Hey, if you're not a subscriber yet, we talk about recruiting and staffing every single video. And if you like that kind of stuff, you should definitely become a subscriber by smashing that subscribe button. And let's jump right into the video. So they say what gets measured gets managed, but I think there's a better way to think about that. I think what gets measured gets better. Now, when I refer to measuring things, I'm talking about KPIs, key performance indicators, and measuring those things inside your recruiting business. I'm talking about measuring the activity levels of everything you do all across the board. Now, in order to measure things in a way that they actually get better, not just managed, I think you need to frame your expectations and frame your goals specifically around what you want your KPIs to be, your key performance indicators. Now, for anyone out there that's not familiar with measurement and KPIs and those kind of things, these are the direct numbers and percentages that reflect your activity in your business. So Elon Musk says that if you give yourself 30 days to clean your house, it's going to take you 30 days to clean your house. But if you give yourself 30 minutes to clean your house, it's going to take 30 minutes. So on that note, if you want to make 100K, I say frame your goals and frame your expectations and your KPIs around what it takes to make 100K. If you want to make 7 figures, frame your goals and frame your expectations and KPIs around 7 figures. We always want to start with a goal. What's the goal, right? The goal is to get a lot of clients and make a lot of placements. So let's start with that goal, and then let's reverse engineer and figure out what KPIs, what key performance indicators do we need to measure and make better so that we can hit that number and hit that goal, get a lot of clients and get a lot of placements. For the sake of this video, let's use startup level KPIs. KPIs that you can use to track to hit 6 figures. So you can hit 100K in a year. Let's go through it. Now, the first one, and personally the most important one, honestly, to me, is email outreach. So personally for me, that KPI looks like this: 250 fresh, brand new emails sent out every single day, 5 days per week, every single business day. That means 1,250 emails sent every single week. Now, I'm utilizing the word fresh because I'm referring to brand new emails that you would have sourced off of LinkedIn or elsewhere, not emails that are included in your email sequence campaigns. Those should be about 7 emails long. And when you send those emails out, your numbers will be sky high every single day. But I'm talking about 250 brand new fresh emails per day should be the standard that you should be sending out. The other emails that are attached to your 7 email sequence campaigns, those are just emails that are follow-up emails and not included in that number. Now, if you're a phone person, if you're a cold caller, right, I say 50 outbound cold calls per day, Monday through Friday at a minimum, 50 outbound calls per day. LinkedIn connections, 100 per week. This is the industry standard goal that everyone should be reaching for because that's what LinkedIn limits us to. So you definitely need to be maxing that out, hitting 100 connections that are in your niche, in your industry, people that you want to connect with that you can potentially get a deal from. As a side note to that, you should be using a brand new LinkedIn automation tool called Aspharis. Link in description to that tool. Super easy to set up, and that will automate a ton of your connections and conversations on LinkedIn. So we just talked about a lot of input, right? A lot of things that you would do. From those things that you do, you have to understand that there's going to be output. There's going to be results, right? And those results are going to come in the form of percentages and numbers. And basically what we want to do next is look at what those should be. Okay, so let's talk about email open rate of those 1,250 emails that you sent out each and every week. We should give that about a conservative 12% open rate. Now, normally I'd say about 18% plus would be awesome, but let's be really conservative here and say 12% would be good. Of those 1,250 emails sent out, 12% of those opened would be 150. That means 150 people opened 1,250 emails sent out fresh every single week. Now, something to keep in mind is that just because somebody opened your email, it just means that they opened your email. They liked your subject line, they opened the email, whatever. Ask yourself, how many emails do you open per day that you don't respond to? a lot, right? With that being said, average cold email marketing stats tell us that 2% is an industry-wide standard for responses on cold email. So that means 2% of 150 people is 3 people responding to your emails per week. Yes, I said 3 people in total per week responding to your emails. Now, of course, remember, I'm using very average conservative stats here so that I don't get anyone's hopes up that you're going to get 50 response rates and 25 people that want to convert with you and all that kind of stuff. I want you to understand what's reality and what's not. Now, let's be even more conservative and say of those 3 responses that you get, only 2 of them respond positively and actually want to engage you based on your value proposition that you sent in your email. This means that you have 2 prospects interested in talking to you, interested in setting up a potential meeting with you to talk about possibly doing a deal. Don't screw this up. So your next KPI, your next expectation would be to set a minimum of 2 prospect meetings per week. Now, I know that sounds really, really low. 2 meetings per week, Ben? Yeah, but here's the deal. I'm using, again, very conservative numbers, really low numbers, not to get your hopes up. But in the big picture, 2 meetings per week is actually a pretty good deal, because if you do 2 meetings per week, that means you're doing 8 meetings a month with prospects. If you land even half of that or even a quarter of that, you're doing really, really good on client acquisition if you're aiming for 100K. All right, so the next KPI you should be tracking is called show rate. Now, show rate is exactly what it sounds like. You set up a meeting with your prospects and it's whether they show up or not. You should be aiming for a 100% show rate. Why do I say 100% as an expectation on show rate? Well, here's the deal. You have done all this work. You've done so many things to get to this point, to have 2 people show up to a Zoom meeting, a phone call, whatever kind of meeting it is, on that week, that you should absolutely make sure you do everything in your power to make it happen, to make it a 100% show rate. This means pretty much doing whatever it takes to make sure that they show up. So email reminders, really good rapport with this person, and maybe working around their schedule to make sure that they can actually make the meeting. All right, so let's get to the big bambino, which is conversion rate. What I mean by conversion rate is how many of those prospect meetings can you turn into signed contracts, aka how many of those prospects can you turn into clients. All right, so I'm going to be brutally honest with you. If you can't get 50% of those meetings turned into converted clients, you are failing somewhere along in the process. 50% of your meetings should result in signed clients. If not, you've got a problem. All right, so now let's talk about after we make those clients. Let's talk about placements as an indicator. Now, if you've done all of your outreach, all of the follow-up, had all of your meetings, closed 50% of those meetings into clients, it's now time to look at how many placements are you making from those clients. Tracking placements is pretty easy. You should basically place 100% of the job orders that are given to you. So if somebody gives you 5 job orders, every single one of them should be a placement for you. In fact, you should go above and beyond, so you actually surpass your goal, surpass 6 figures. Now, if you're not making 100% of these placements that you're given, you have a problem. Again, something to examine. The way I see it is that if you can break every single piece of the process down into a quantifiable number, you're golden. Why? Because if you can see every single piece of the process as a number, and you can see that number going up or down, you can understand exactly what to fix and why. Let me just give you a few examples. Maybe your email open rate is half of what it should be, right? So go through your email copy from subject line of the email to signature, all the way through, check it, change it, figure out what's wrong, and redo it. Maybe A/B split test what you're emailing out. Another example. What if you aren't getting the average 3 responses per week that we discussed earlier? Perhaps you have an email deliverability issue, or you're marked as spam or blacklisted somewhere, which is a bigger issue that you can handle. Now, how about show rate? How about people not showing up to the meetings you set with them? Maybe you're not providing enough of a value proposition for them to actually want to show up to the meetings. Maybe they need more information from you before they actually show. You have to understand, in recruiting and staffing, you're playing chess, not checkers, which means every single move has to be highly calculated for you to be successful. So by tracking your KPIs, you're going to be able to fix anything that's not on point, or at least reasonably on point. And with that being said, you're going to get better at least by 1% every single day that you're doing this. Now imagine your process if you didn't track any of the indicators I mentioned above. If you stopped converting, you would have no clue what's wrong in your process. You wouldn't know if it's your outreach, your email copy, your open rate, your show rate, your conversion. You wouldn't know anything because you're not tracking any of those indicators. The data you get from tracking your KPIs in your process is gold. It's knowledge. Knowledge is power. You can change things when you know what's wrong, right? So having that data is a gold mine. In fact, I think you must track your data to be successful. Let me know down below in the comments if you have any questions about measuring or tracking certain KPIs, and I'll definitely try to get to as many as I can. If this video was in any way valuable to you, please smash that like button, subscribe if you're not a subscriber, and hit that bell alert button so that you know every single time I come out with a brand new video. Until then.